goes through the entire team, and I think that speaks to why this team has got the championship pedigree it does.
Oh, for sure. And he can just, he can score. It's not like he doesn't score, but he just, he's like, like a younger Andrzej Kopitar, right? Who just covers so much ice and does so many things well. So as a coach, you're like, okay, we need something. Okay, open the door, get out there. And obviously your captain is going to be out there often at the front of that list. But I just like how he does so many different things so well at the same time. Like I think of Jonathan Toews was somewhat like that role for the Chicago Blackhawks, right? And then you had Kane beside him, who was, just Mr. Highlight Reel. And Toews had his moments, but I wouldn't say he was a massive point producer either. So, but all three of those guys, Kopitar, Barkov, and Toews, all are Stanley Cup winners multiple times.
Yeah, I threw Datsuk in there as well. They're sort of, they're well-rounded players. They played really good defensive, high skill level offensively, and can play physically as well.
Well, that said, Matt, you talk about Matthews having the opportunity to climb this list. I mean, I think at his best, he's probably been as high as number 2 on this list behind McDavid, right? And he's obviously been the MVP of the league. But when you got, you're coming off a 33-goal season, you got 4 goals in your most recent 18 playoff games. Those numbers are going to drop you in the rankings. I mean, you're a goal scorer by definition. You are, you have to score more than he has scored.
Well, I guess let me ask you guys this. Is there a risk that now with Marner out, and let's just say a really good player came out of their lineup, with him out now, is there a risk that he's pushing too hard, trying to do too much, and trying to be, the superhero every night?
Could be. I mean, this is the big question. What Austin Matthews will we get during the regular season and the playoffs without Marner? And this is something you would address every 10 games, because it's probably going to be a different winger on occasion on that top line. There's nobody set there.
Yeah, it's a wide open race for who's going to be his right winger. I mean, obviously it feels like Matthew Knies and him might be a complementary pair, but exactly who will fill out that Marner spot. They got Mateus Michelli here as a potential begin, kind of day one guy. He's been penciled in there, but I would say it's very light pencil. And then, but I mean, the bottom line is, when you think about it, it's uncharted territory for this guy. I mean, it's been ever since Babcock left the building, he and Marner spent a lot of time together. And, there's that sample size. People have been pointing to the sample size of, a 40-something games where Matthews has played without Marner in his career and scored at similar rates to when Marner's been in the lineup. But it's a really small sample size. If you look at the bulk of their careers together, they really did help each other an awful lot.
Oh, 2 elite players. I mean, they're going to do well. So now, Matthew Knies, he has to, and I think he's one of the guys that Matthews was talking about. I think he's going to take a step. He's a guy that has to take another step. What did he have, like 50 points last year or something off the top of my head? I think that he's a guy that could continue to improve and continue to help just drive a line. Because Matthews is an elite player, so you get to play with him. Can he become 60 points? I don't know if you can get past up that. Maybe playing with him than the guy on the other side. So there's really opportunity there for Matthew Knies to kind of probably get more puck touches, feel like he can make more plays, because obviously with Marner on the line, you don't mind him having the puck at all.
So here's Matthew Knies at the Brampton fundraiser last night, talking about Knies getting invited to the U.S. Olympic camp.
Talked to him a little bit, yeah. Obviously, I think it's well-deserved. I mean, he's a great player, and, just still coming into his own. He's only going to get better, so, I know he's really looking forward to the opportunity, obviously, and, it'll be a good time for, I think, everybody to just get together and kind of be in that kind of atmosphere with a bunch of other elite players.
So, obviously, Matthews was there, and curious enough to answer a lot of questions, and that's just going to be the ongoing storyline, who plays on the right side of that. So maybe the broad question is, when you had that configuration of Matthews, Marner, and Knies, can you sort of configure it to go down the left side? Is that something you would do?
I don't know if you can do it that way, because Knies isn't really the facilitator that Marner was, right? Although, look, I mean, he's had, I guess he's got more assists than goals in his NHL career, 44 goals and 50 assists. So it's potentially possible that he can be more of a setup guy, and maybe you have to be, I don't know, Struddy, when you see it. I mean, sometimes you do the role that's necessary, right? And if Matthews needs more puck touches, his wingers have got to be the guys to facilitate that.
Yeah, I hear you. I guess, is that what he's his best at? And when I think of Matthew Nyes, I don't think of a guy who's, setting up someone else. I see Matthew Nyes using his speed, his size, getting to that. He's got a good shot at making plays. So do you take away from makes him him if you, not ask him, but if he tries to tailor his game more to get to Austin? But the reality is you still have to get the puck to Austin Matthews because he can score. And he knows that. When you play with good players, and listen, I played with good players, I wanted to get them the puck as often as I could. If I got a second assist, I don't care what people say about him. I think they're beautiful because they still count the same on the score sheet. So, for him to figure that out, he'll have to wait to see who's on his other side. And then, what does that player do? What does he what makes him special? And it's because it's not, with 2 D-men, it's a little different. You kind of know your role and the other guy's role. But 3 now, it's harder to kind of get everyone singing off the same tune here when you're not sure exactly how you can facilitate to make sure that one of the best players in the world gets the puck, but not hurt your own game and make the right winger make his game as good as he can as possible too.
Well, there's sort of the in-game chemistry, and some people don't like the use of the word chemistry, but you also have to think the same way. You have to sort of have that sort of thought process that fits in with what the other 2 guys are doing, right?
Well, and that's what Matthews and Marner had, right? They had that built-in chemistry of so many years together, and they didn't need to talk to know where each of them were going to be, and that obviously is going to be difficult to replace. But Struddy, I wonder if, the thing you have to wonder about for me with this is, how does the dynamic change, and can it change for the better just sort of by not addition by subtraction, because I'm not trying to downgrade Mitch, but without Mitch, it's just going to be a different type of team with a different type of vibe. And I wonder, in your experience, when an influential guy leaves, how does it change the room, and by osmosis, how does it change the on-ice product?
Well, they know, anyone who plays any level of hockey, when the other team is better than you, right? And it's not working. And I was playing for the Vancouver Canucks. Marcus Naslund was their captain. And I remember him, I was sitting in the room, and Colorado was always the team we were chasing. But they had, so many Hall of Famers. Rob Blake, Ray Bork, Hayjuk, Forsberg, Sakic. It was ridiculous how good they were. And I said, I think we'll catch him. He said, Struddy, let's just go through the lines. So we put we were in a hotel room. We wrote down our 4 lines and our 60 and our 70 or whatever. Then same thing for Colorado. Okay, and he goes, go through every one and circle the player you like best. Do you like Sakic or our centerman? Or do you like Marcus Naslund or Peter Forsberg? And by the end, there weren't a lot of circles on our side of the ledger, right? And we weren't being mean. He's like, this just shows you how far we have to go. So, as Austin Matthews, really smart guy, obviously knows the game, so he understands that, there has to be some adjustments here to try to compete with the teams that are not just in the league, but just in their own division. So, could they take a step back to go forward? Yeah, it may. And then there'll be a lot of pressure. Who's replacing Mitch Marner? Do you think you want that in your first day of training camp? Hey, how do you feel about replacing a guy who scored 100 points last year and has been, from here and beloved? So I think they might have to go a little bit backwards, but Craig Berube is probably looking to spread it around more and bring just that constant type of style that he wants to play that thinks will bring success, while still unlocking guys' talents and their abilities.
So a summer of lists. The Athletic did this list. It's about fan base comfort level with the front office. Obviously, Florida leads, Dallas, Carolina, Tampa Bay, and Montreal came in 5th on this list. Edmonton came in 21st and Toronto 24th. I'm kind of intrigued by that because although Edmonton did it in the proper order, there's president, GM, coach. The Leafs did it sort of backhanded, but all those 3 people have been replaced in a short period of time. The people that you want to blame for failure, and not much failure in Edmonton, but they're not there anymore. So I guess the question for you, Struddy, is what